What is good, Defenders Nation? Really hope my connection's okay this time. You know my voice, it's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, and this is episode 331 of Defenders of the Bank, the LAFC podcast your mother warned you about. That's right. We are also in full metropolitan celebration mode. Thank you to the Polar Bear and the we. I mean, it's me, the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, and of course, sitting across from me on the interwebs in world-famous Philomonster Studios, Timmy Trumpet himself, Christian Philly Philemon. Oh, he's doing a thing where he's holding the phone close to something, so he thinks we can all hear it, but it's hard to hear. I don't hear anything.
Let's go! Oh, happy Thursday, Defenders. Hopefully it's a thirsty one for you. It was a wicked Wednesday for me. Therefore, I needed that thirsty Thursday to combat the wickedness of the Wednesday. But what a day I have had, Scarf. Not only did I wait in line for what seemed like forever on Ticketmaster to get myself some stinking tickets to go see Oasis, but the New York Mets, when all hopes were dashed, when they met it up like crazy, it took a bomb by a certain polar bear by the name of Pete Alonso to bring it back in. It's been a great day. I think I need to play the lotto. I think I need to romanticize the wife. I don't know. I'm having a damn good one right now. Cheers, Defenders.
I love the way you put it. Yes, Philly got himself some Oasis tickets. That's for sure. He got himself some Oasis tickets. I thought he was going to get 4.
I panicked.
Instead, he got 2. So Philly and Panda are going to have fun at the Rose Bowl. Not sure what Chad is going to do, but luckily I got 2 tickets too. So maybe you can take Chad on Sunday while you take Panda on Saturday. I mean, let's be honest. You would absolutely go to both shows. I know you haven't seen them. Have you actually seen them in concert live?
As together, no. Separate, yes. I've seen High Flying Birds. I've seen Liam solo on a couple of occasions, but together as actual Oasis with Bonehead playing as well, no, can't say that I have.
Nice.
And
Look,
to answer the question for Ruben Rios, no. My man, tickets go on sale to the general public tomorrow. Oasis will be playing the Rose Bowl on the 6th and 7th of September.
Yeah, Philly, you might want to see what mic you're using. You sound, and this is me saying this out loud so the millions can hear, you sound a little muted, actually. Are you using the correct mic? Just want to make sure that your sound is okay. I know he's going to just
muted, they say. I'm sure people will be
211.
Muted.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. See? Am I right? I am right. Watch. Oh, look at that.
Hold on.
Oh, boy. Philly's having a moment, you guys. Meanwhile,
hold on.
Yeah. We still can't hear that. Philly is holding a phone, but he thinks anybody can hear that. We can't hear it.
Better?
No one heard anything from your phone.
Not at all?
No, you guys in the chat, please let us know if you heard it. This is a start. Look, this episode start is kind of the way the entire second half played out for LAFC. Just kind of fits and starts and not really much happening. But look, we might as well be excited about the New York Metropolitans because that match at BMO yesterday, I wouldn't call it exciting. I would call it an excellent defensive performance by a club that I firmly believe still has one of, if not the best back lines and keepers in the entire MLS. Thank you, Ben Skolnick. That was a song called 9 Seconds I'll Never Get Back, is what Ben just said. I love it.
Like you would have had something better to do with those 9 seconds.
Be nice to Ben. We love ourselves some Ben. Look, not a great match for sure. Denis Bouanga providing all the electricity. Philly, I believe he's up to 9 game-winning goals now on the season for Denis Bouanga. third most in the history of MLS in a single season, which is pretty cool. We got Ugo pitching a shutout. Philly called the shutout. I thought there'd be a little bit more fireworks. We both really did. But Philly, episode 331. And yes, that does include a lot of the western suburbs of Chicago, including Naperville. And we know we have lots of people out here from Chicago that do listen to Defenders of the Bank. But Philly, guess which other suburb is part of area code 331?
Schaumburg.
How about Aurora? Aurora, Illinois. The reason why I bring that up, Philly obviously knows, the home of Wayne and Garth are one of our movies that we quote literally probably every day. Wayne's World. Philly, party on.
Party on indeed. That's right. Aurora, which is a suburb outside of Chicago. Excellent. Love that movie. Never gets old. Never gets old.
Never.
Although you don't see it on TBS like you would see a lot of the Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison shows. If it had more Wayne's World on, I can't say I would complain. Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah.
And speaking of another Wayne's World reference.
Yes, go on.
Algonquin for the good land. That's exactly what Milwaukee was for the New York Mets today. Look, I could go on and on about this. You Dodger fans out there have no idea what this means because a bad season for you is winning the NL West. This is an incredible season for us. We needed a Hawk Tua girl and magic from a McDonald's character named Grimace in order to have the season that we've had. What an insurmountable comeback that we had. And I'm going to enjoy this one for a little while because on Saturday, we're going to go up against a team I hate nearly as much, if not more, than the Galaxy, and that of the Philadelphia Filthies. Y'all got your hands tied with the San Diego Padres, but who knows? Maybe we are all on course for a one-way collision. New York versus LA. That would be fun. And for a little while, at the very least on the baseball front, I'm pretty sure many of us are not going to be friends if it happens.
Poor genuine Cougar. Now you're making him explain to Smirty what Hawk Tua is. That's all. That's on you, Philly.
It's the act of spitting.
way to go on that one. If you're not careful, you're going to lose me, Ben Skolnick. Listen, Philly.
I lost you 2 months ago. We broke up. Are you mental?
This is what we do. This is what happens. And I know what all of you out there on the interwebs are thinking. I know what the millions.
And of course, the millions
are thinking right now. Do these guys know how to party or what? Obviously, right? So that's what we're all about. Look, we're trying to make this fun because this was a rough one in terms of finding fun things to talk about in the match. Victor Rivas might not like LAFC all that much. Offsides rules, still not 100% sure that this time Olivier Giroud wasn't offside, but we'll see. Philly, props to DoorDash, man. They did it again. Have you seen the second one now? It's incredible. DoorDash 66. It's incredible. Listen, Defenders of the Bank, by the way, DoorDash is also still looking for a primary sponsor. So if you would like, my number is 83 on the back of my kit. Phillies is 80. We don't have to do those discounts, but we can figure out a system. It could work. I don't know, but that was the lock. He's sitting at his locker, negotiating with the DoorDash guy, and he says, all right, not for 99, but then he shows him the picture of him flipping Philly, and it's 66, and apparently 66 is still too much for DoorDash to give off. We're gonna have to figure it out. Yeah, no, truly, and Denny pulls it off very well. Didn't know he had some quick-witted acting chops going on. It was it was fun. It's been fun. It's been a fun couple of days. The game yesterday was entertaining. Not. There's another Wayne's World reference for you. But God. I mean, we still have 3 points to talk about. And whether you win by a score of 1-0 or 10-0, it's still 3 points. So stuff's still worth talking about. I love it. We got genuine Cougars apparently over a mile up in the sky or in the world right now, 6,744 feet. That's fun. Or maybe just in Breckenridge. Maybe. Look, let's get into this day in LAFC history because it's a day that I know many would want to remember. Of course, the match played on October 2nd. And October 2nd, 2019, who will forget the day that Tyler Miller was nominated for the 2019 MLS Works Humanitarian of the year. What a guy, what a human, what a goalie. Tyler Miller, his name will come up again in this episode. That's right, Philly. 2 times the Tyler Miller talk here on Defenders of the Bank.
Oh, man, there's people out there that are jumping for joy. One party in particular, who knows, who are referencing right now, you Tyler Miller lover, you. This is going to be great.
Love it. Love it. The only news and notes I have, Philly, 2 quick things, although you may have done a little more research on the second one. I just saw that it happened. The first thing is congratulations to Denis for making the team of the match day 35 bench. He was the only one from LAFC to make the team of the match day. And Philly, did you hear about David Martinez? He's got a little bit of a field trip planned for him.
Oh, does he now?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're the teacher. You're the one who excels in field trips. In fact, I know you and your colleagues circle him on a calendar because it is day on/off for y'all. You can't bring up something that's out of the teacher's dictionary and pin that one on me. That'd be like me talking about Latin or mathematics. Yuck.
I mean, last episode, man, you were all about it. It was kind of fun to watch Philly teach us all. Every now and then, we just kind of switch roles. Did not know that the Venezuelan national football team is called La Vino Tinto, the red wine. I love that about the Venezuelan national team. Congrats to David Martinez, who has been called into the camp. There were like 40 names on this list. A bunch of MLS guys, actually, like 5 of them were called in. So David Martinez could potentially be missing some time later this month on international duty for some World Cup qualifiers for a nation that is certainly looking to get back to the World Cup in Venezuela.
I mean, good luck to Venezuela. That's a huge hill for them to climb as far as like being in the World Cup. But it's also amazing that he gets recognized to be operating on that kind of a level. The kid's been on fire as of late. And as we said in the last pod, his hustle is being rewarded. He's scoring goals, a couple goals in his last 3 matches. And with the arrival of one Carlos Vela, we've said that his minutes will probably be far more limited. So good on him for getting the international nod. Always a huge honor, something you and I will never really understand. Yes, Ben Skolnick with the UB40. That's, believe it or not, UB40 is a cover band. If you look at all the songs that they sang, go back to who the original writer is. UB40 is nothing more than a cover band.
Yeah, look, this was just brought up in the chat, and it hasn't been talked about for like a month, by the way, but Swansea City in late August was linked to a loan deal for goalkeeper Tyler Miller. They were in need of a backup, and they were trying to get Tyler Miller, which I thought was kind of neat. Jose 6 in our chat just brought it up again, and I saw it. I never reported it on Defenders. I should have. I apologize. But now that's our second of 3 times we will mention Tyler Miller on this episode. LAFC 2 plays on Sunday, October 6th against Sporting Kansas City 2. And that would be 1 p.m. in Kansas City. Not 1 p.m. Kansas City time, but 1 p.m. in Kansas City on Sunday. So on Sunday, in between all your NFL football, if that's what you watch, make sure you check out LAFC 2 on the YouTubes. And as a reminder for all your ACFC needs, be sure to listen to the Angel City Chicks and to follow Angel City Chicks on our social media platforms. Philly, you guys got a cool interview on Soccer in 60.
We did. Shout out to our producer, Gunnar, who continues to line up the amazing guests. It's my favorite part of Soccer in 60. It's, in a way, it's doing like I do the LAFC segment. And in a way, it's kind of a regurgitation of what's about to be said on Defenders of the Bank. I'm beyond prepared at the very least. But the cool thing is the players that we get to interview. This time around, we got to interview Brek Shea. Brek Shea competed with the U.S. men's national indoor soccer team this past Sunday at Toyota Arena. Yours truly, along with the Dr. Jonathan Reimer and Amanda the Panda Filliman, were on the broadcast. Brek is a very big human being. And now that he's got the game of indoor, that game like underneath his belt, he came on and we had a great conversation. I mean, it was quick, brief. He operates more as an Uber driver for his kids right now and all their athletic endeavors down in Florida. But he did say that now that he got a taste, he wants to learn the game and maybe fire up those competitive juices, because right now he's only utilizing them for pickleball. Perhaps he can utilize them in the Major Arena Soccer League. For those who don't know the name Brek Shea, he last played with Inter Miami back in 2022, had a substantial career in Major League Soccer, over 250 games throughout the course of his career, mainly with FC Dallas. Had a stint over in England playing with the likes of Stoke City, Barnsley, I believe, and then 34 caps with the U.S. men's national team. Let's not forget that goal that he scored against Panama, 2013 CONCACAF gold medalist as well with the U.S. He's had a pretty darn good career, and hopefully we get to see that in arena soccer as well.
Yeah, pretty cool interview for sure. So don't forget to check out Soccer in 60. Philly, we thought it was going to be a law firm indeed lining up at BMO Stadium. Nobody told Roman Bürki the plane was leaving, apparently, because he didn't even get on it. He was sitting back there in St. Louis, kind of looking around at the airport going, guys, or maybe they told him the wrong time. I don't know what happened. But lo and behold, they start a German at keeper anyway. Jokes were on us, apparently. LAFC taking on St. Louis City SC. Two teams going in very opposite directions, Philly.
Yep, St. Louis, a team that is eliminated. In fact, the next three of LAFC's opponents, two of whom have been eliminated. Sporting Kansas City, our opponent that'll be this Saturday. We'll be talking about them tomorrow on Friday. God, we've been doing a ton of these episodes, by the way, now that I think about it. But yes, a team that season is over and a team that's never beaten LAFC, similar to FC Cincinnati, but we haven't played St. Louis SC as many times as we have played against FC Cincinnati. But the funny and fun fact of the entire scenario is St. Louis has yet to score on us. May 15th, 2024, we beat them 2-0 in their own home field. Prior to that, almost a year ago, over a year ago at this point, September 20th, 2023, we drew them in St. Louis. And then when they tried to invade I guess it was BMO still at the time, July 12th, 2023, we whooped up on them 3-0. So they have no wins and no goals against us. And spoiler, that would continue to be the case.
Yeah, another excellent defensive performance from LAFC. Another goal from the best goal scorer in Major League Soccer over the last several seasons. And not much else. Not much else at all. Philly is going to go through the stats after we finish the recap. But Philly, can I let one cat out of the bag if it's okay?
Sure. I don't intend to really recap this match all that much, so go for it.
Excellent. You and I, from Founders Club, had as many shots on target as St. Louis did in this whole match, 90-plus minutes.
Yeah. And thanks to Dario, we would have some shots.
That is true. We did.
That's for sure. Now, real quick, did you just say the entire game or the first 45?
No, the entire game, shots on target, that's for sure. But we did have a couple, but not the 7 that St. Louis had. Just a dominating defensive effort. What do you say we get into it, Philly? Shall we?
Yeah, sure. What the hell? We could talk about St. Louis. Why not?
All right. John Hackworth is the head man over in St. Louis. And I didn't know that until I researched this club before we talked about One More Sleep. So there's a name that I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole on a little bit more later. If he would have done well, if they would have played well, if there would have been some tactical acumen that I could have referenced by St. Louis City SC, then I would have decided to talk about John Hackworth more. But I've already spent too much time. He had him line up in a 4-4-2, and we all thought it'd be Roman Bürki against Hugo Lloris. There's a fly like right in my face. A little one though, like one of those little banana.
What's going on in your house? You were being attacked by a fly. You almost got bit by a spider last time.
Dude, that was
we're gonna have pigeons flying through your kitchen.
No, this is an NYCFC pod. No, thank you. The goalkeeper du jour for St. Louis in that match would be Ben Lundt. Ben Lundt, a German acquired by way of Phoenix Rising, but yes, born in Berlin. Ich ein Berliner, according to JFK. So the shot
that also
there,
could mean he's a jelly donut, by the way, because that's
right. That could. That is true. But what that did was it totally disrupted what we thought was going to be the matchup. In fact, there would be no Roman Bürki in the 18, as we have mentioned. The back line of Jaden Reed, Joachim Nielsen, Henry Kessler, and Jacob Nerwinski, Marcel the Model Hartel, Jake Gerwood Reich, Edward Leuven, and Rasmus Alm round out your midfield. And up top, Joao Klaus and Cedric Toyshirt. Definitely thought I would see more out of Hartel and Toyshirt, maybe even Leuven and Klaus, who really carried this club last year. Didn't at all. And they're 18, the players we would see, former Vancouver Whitecap, who had a very good run with them for a short amount of time, Simon Becher or Becker, either way, Akil Watts, Novki Thoresen, Thomas Totland, and Giannis Horn. That's St. Louis City. And I'm still going to say this. One last thing, Philly. I love the color of their uniforms. They're the only club in the league that has that color. They've got it on lock. I think it's fantastic. I like their color of their uniforms.
Yeah, that's fair. I like their sponsor because that's pretty much what we made out of them. Dog food, Purina Dog Chow. That's exactly what we did. And, their remnants were fed to Ollie at the conclusion of the game. Shout out, Jason. I know you got a lot of Purina sent your way by way of LAFC whooping up on St. Louis SC. From the show me state of Missouri, the land of 50 breweries. No, actually, that's Cincinnati. The land of the arch. I will say this. With that starting lineup, they've had a good run of form. We talked about it on One More Sleep. However, the last 5 games, they only lost 1 time. The interesting thing is the new players that they brought in really added some firepower to their roster, to their stat lines, but a little too little, a little too late, a little too little. Joao Klaus, who had been one of their most imposing offensive threats, really hasn't scored in a long time. I think he had a game several months ago where he had a brace, hasn't really seen the back of the net since. Big dude, don't let him fool you. Joao Klaus, he's Brazilian. He isn't German. Will he have a German descent? Quite possibly so, but he represents Brazil. So moving into LAFC, we'll talk about how they stacked up in between the pipes. The man who would get the clean sheet, Hugo Lloris. Lloris doing Hugo Lloris things. Ryan Hollingshead, Eddie Segura, Maxime Chanot. I didn't get caught with the public address announcer going Maxime. I said Crepeau, I think the last time on one of the lives. Didn't catch me this time. And Omar Campos, who has turned his game around significantly. We would then have Timothy Tillman. We would have Lewis O'Brien, who is a hustler extraordinaire, man. I like the way this kid plays. Matty Bogusz. And then up top, Kike Oliveira, Olivier Giroud, and Denis Bouanga. As far as players that would end up coming in off of the Pine Pony, Kai Kamara, David Martinez, Marlon, Nathan Ordaz. That rounds up your LAFC squad that started and played.
Are we singing Marlon's name now? That's what we're doing? I like it. Okay.
I'm in a jovial mood, my friend. Me and Francisco Lindor.
Well, hey, I got to go get my polar bear one then, man. That was unreal. Look, in the first 15 minutes, consternation, frustration. A club that we know we need to put away. 3 points in the table as we're chasing Carson and keeping several clubs, and you'll hear all about them after we go through the match, keeping several clubs in our rearview mirror and some interesting decision-making at the least. I'll say this, 2 really stupid yellow cards, Matty Bogusz in the 8th minute and Maxime Chanot in the 12th. Those bookended Kike Oliveira, the XG on his header, Philly. The XG on his header was 0.9. That means 90% of the time, what Kike Oliveira did not do, you're supposed to do. How he missed the back of the net on that header, which was wide open from inside the 6, I am not quite sure of. But somehow it stayed out of the back. And after 15 minutes, Philly, nothing but frustration.
That was really frustrating. And you could see the look on his face, too. I mean, that was one heck of a whiff. That should have been one without a doubt. And true, I guess, to the XG, you want to utilize that statistic. In practice, he's nailing that. I would say 10 out of 10 times. It just so happened that one time he misdirected it pretty badly. I just have to go off topic for a quick second. The only person that might understand this in the chat would be Ben. The way you said interesting earlier on takes me back to the old Looney Tunes cartoons where Bugs Bunny was running around with that big red monster. And then there was that scene where the monster's sitting in the barbershop and Bugs is talking to him. I just love me some interesting monsters. Shout out Mel Blanc. You are a hero of my childhood, even though I did not walk the earth with you. very much Bugs Bunny. Interesting monsters. Really, really good stuff. But yes, that was the golden opportunity. The yellow cards earlier on Bogusz and Chanot put us at a disadvantage, knowing that how aggressive can we really be defensively in the grand scheme of things. But as we go through the shots, you will realize that, well, we didn't necessarily have to be aggressive defensively because St. Louis really defeated themselves, Scarf.
Oh, yeah. No, it was rough. I mean, look, go through the entire rest of the first half. You get a near chance from Maddie, as I think the ball deflected off of another dude's junk as it went through the box. In the 21st minute, you had Denis from distance on the free kick, but a nice save from Lunt. 1 minute after, Tillman on the back post. He probably should have put that on target, but didn't. And then Denis again in the box, 1v1, hammers it at Ben Lunt, but a nice save from Ben Lunt. Nothing with like an XG of more than 3 or 2% in the first half from St. Louis at all. Nothing to talk about from St. Louis. The bend but don't break. It wasn't even that kind of defense from LAFC this time. It was literally you shall not pass on that back line on the 18. An incredible defensive effort throughout the entire first half. And apparently all we needed to do, Philly, was get Denis Bouanga into stoppage time.
The one time I actually got up a little earlier to get myself a bathroom break and to get myself a drink. Denis with the dagger in the heart of St. Louis, but that was a total team effort. Everybody from LAFC's front line was involved in that, whether it had been Olivier Giroud getting it, being the recipient of a pass from Kike Oliveira, or that taparoo pass to Matty Bogusz, who then makes his move, finding Denis the Destroyer. And I use this on Soccer in 60. Eat your heart out, Conan the Barbarian. We got Denis the Destroyer. He cuts inside with his right foot, puts a pair of St. Louis defenders in his back pocket, snipes one. These are the exact motions from Soccer in 60. Past St. Louis goalkeeper Benjamin Lunt to make the score 1-0. Sadly, that would be the only goal of the game. Certainly the only goal of the first half. But Denis being precise, Denis doing Denis things, Denis hungry for goals. And after we chatted with him in the press conference yesterday, on the record and off the record, Denis wants Benteke.
He does want Benteke. I'm sure he would have wanted to put 1 or 2 more of those chances away. I mean, the frustrating part is, right, Philly, after 45 minutes, hell, after 90 minutes going into those, 7 minutes of stoppage time, but one stupid play, one ball bounces the wrong way, one thing caroms off of a hand or a wrist outstretched in the box, one thing happens, and all of a sudden you have let an absolute dog water St. Louis City team back into the match with maybe a PK or a goal. And that would have been a very frustrating point to have taken away from BMO. Didn't happen. So we're good. But oh my goodness. I was shocked it wasn't easier to sit there and watch that match. In the second half, 55th minute is when there was at least something to talk about with Olivier Giroud. I don't know, man. I've seen it a bunch of times. They didn't even go to the VAR to check it. Apparently, they checked it upstairs. Olivier Giroud was offside. I don't know. I think it was because when the initial pass to the passer was played, Olivier was offside, not when the pass to him was played. But I don't know, man. I don't even know what the hell offside is anymore. Every time I think I do, a play like that happens. And Olivier should have gotten another one, but he didn't. So there you go.
No, I mean, I'd have to go back and really sit and dissect that one. But it was frustrating because it would have been good. I mean, he's fought really hard to make himself a part of the offense. And he's starting to be rewarded in a lot of ways. Like, he has contributed to LAFC's success these past couple of games. But wow, what a major boost of confidence that would have been for him. But he wasn't the only one that would be denied within the second half. Ryan Hollingshead would have a pretty decent attempt about 11 or so minutes later. But Lunt, even as a backup keeper, he actually was pretty serviceable, man. He faced a fair amount of opposition and peppering, if you will. But he did a really good job. Thus wise. I mean, obviously the Giroud goal would have been a Giroud goal had it not been called offside, but denying Ryan Hollingshead, that was a big one because he should have feared the stash, and the stash should have celebrated with a carafe of this had he scored that goal. He's getting so close. I feel like he's stuck in the mud when it comes to him surpassing Graham Susie as far as highest scoring defenders in Major League Soccer history. I'm waiting for the stash to crash the party.
Yeah, look, it's last couple matches, right? We've talked about how Ryan's been right there. And, just to kind of put a finer point on it, we all want him to pass. We definitely want him to pass Graham Zusi to be the highest scoring
I love you
defender
so much, Ben.
of all time, and definitely for him to do it in an LAFC shirt. That's what we want more than anything. In the 72nd minute, Kike Oliveira with a beautiful pass over the top and an acrobatic one-timer by Denis Bouanga. He got absolutely all of it, but Ben Lunt was there, and another solid save from their backup keeper, Ben Lunt. Nicely done. We would bring on Kai Kamara for Olivier Giroud in the 74th and David Martinez for Matty Bogusz in the 75th. And then Marlon to drive and park the rest of the bus for Denis Bouanga in the 90th minute, because Marlon for Denis Bouanga is not what you would consider a like-for-like substitution. Kai Kamara.
Well, he has a different kind of destruction in his mind. Denny scores goals. Marlon destroys forwards.
Right, that's still a nasty yellow card last match.
In the 90th, scarf.
We all wanted Kai Kamara to put that header away, middle of the box, misses left. That's not one that Kai Kamara usually misses frame on, but unfortunately he did. We would see a literal cameo from Nate the Great Ordaz. Goodness. Nate Ordaz on for Kike Oliveira in 7 minutes of stoppage time. But Jesus, St. Louis just putting up absolutely no resistance on the offensive end.
No, look, that was the only goal we would see the game was that Denis Bouanga dagger in stoppage at the end of the first half. Their total shots, St. Louis attempted them at 10, but the number of shots they got on target, zero. A goose egg. We would have 19 shots with 4 of them on targets, a 25% conversion rate. And that's why we won. You can't expect to win a game if you don't get any shots on target. I'm not an X's and O's guy, but I'm pretty sure that that's how the game works. No shots on target, no goals, no opportunity at winning. LAFC should have had well more than one goal. If not, the Olivier Giroud goal that was called offside, at the very least, the one that came off of Kike Oliveira's head. This should have been a much bigger route than what it was. And then you would have gotten the I think you called them scoring a goal, though. Didn't I say they were going to get shut out? I forget.
Yeah, you said 3-0. You would have been righter than I was.
Okay, then yeah, I would have been right. Yes, I didn't think St. Louis would score a goal. So from that perspective, I was right. But yes, really, I guess would the term anemic be appropriate for how their offense was run?
That was awful. It was frustrating that this late in the season, you have that many good offensive players out there between Klaus and Leuven and the two new guys they brought in with Hartel and Teuscher. I mean, Hartel and Teuscher had 15 goal contributions in their first 6 or 7 matches together combined.
Yeah, it was sick.
They're incredible. But just nothing. Again, the game plan from Steve Cherundolo executed perfectly defensively. We heard him talk offensively. It was kind of an egg that they laid, and he even said so in the press conference. But honestly, the defensive effort is what really to fall back on, especially Philly, knowing that was our 6th match in 23 days with 7 matches in 27 days on the horizon. Saturday, October 5th at Sporting Kansas City, 5:30 p.m. If we can end this gauntlet of 7 matches in 27 days with 4 straight victories, that would be incredible. 2 on the road, 1, of course, in FC Cincinnati, a very tough place to win. And then going to Sporting, which is a place that, look, they defend their home turf as well as they can. There's not a lot for them to play for anymore. So they're going to want to knock off LAFC anytime they see us. So 7 matches in 27 days. If we could end it with 3 points in that match, again, trying to keep up with everybody in the Western Conference, a very congested 1 through 6.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Sporting Kansas City 6-6-4 at home. So, I mean, it's very doable. Blue hell isn't what blue hell used to be. Obviously, it's still a Peter Vermees-led club, but they haven't really done much in terms of upgrading themselves. I mean, Daniel Shalhoub's been there forever. Tim Melia has been there forever. Obviously, Peter Vermees has been there forever. And you got good players in the likes of Eric Tommy and Alan Polito, and I love me some Johnny Russell. If he was on our team, I'd be thrilled. Johnny Scotch is A-OK in my eyes. But yes, I would agree with you. Getting those points on the road would be huge, especially if we would like to catch up with Carson. I was keeping a very close eye on their game against Colorado. Colorado scored the first goal of the game, and true to the fashion, the way this entire season has panned out for LAG is they came back, and when they came back, they put a hurting on Colorado. And Colorado is not a bad team. Colorado is a team that is bound for the playoffs. So picking up some wins. Hopefully, the team down the 110 can stumble. I mean, we still got a shot at winning the West. One thing for sure we don't have a shot at winning is the Supporter Shield. And my hat's off to Inter Fort Lauderdale on winning the Supporter Shield. Apparently, from what I've seen on social media, no members of their supporters are part of the ISC, the governing body, and basically I don't want to get into the politics and the schematics of all that, but there's no supporters group of Inter Miami within the ISC council, which means only the ISC and the club can hold on to the Supporter Shield. It won't get passed around like it was for LAFC. 3252 is part of the ISC. But anyway, yes, congratulations to Inter Fort Lauderdale. Scarf, it's really amazing how they were able to be so successful, just utilizing the unproven and raw talent that they have acquired at such a thrifty price.
And honestly, staying within the salary cap rules and regulations the entire time while doing it with unproven talent there in Miami, it has been absolutely incredible. They have not at all likely done anything outside of normal MLS rules and regulations. There's no reason to think that Miami has done anything differently because, I mean, look at their roster, the devoid of talent that it is, and they're still able to win the Supporter Shield. Good God, they're an all-star team. It's unreal.
Yeah, but I mean, look, obviously they have the designated players that they have, and they run them in different they camps, commercials. I mean, we've seen more commercials with Luis Suarez. You can't help but watch an Apple TV broadcast without seeing Messi eating Lay's or drinking Michelob Ultra Light. They find other ways, creative ways, mind you, and I don't know how. I don't want to say illegal. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus, but there are ways to get these guys played. At the end of the day, they don't necessarily need the money at this point in their career. Clearly, this is a Barcelona reunion, so they're happy to be competing with one another. And as a result of that, they win the Supporter Shield. For better or for worse, it is what it is. But, come playoff time, now we're looking at a completely different season. As far as like going back to us, Scarf, I mean, that's sort of, we're really wrapping through this. This is pretty good. Look, 16-8-7 as a result of our win against St. Louis. Gives us 55 points. 16 wins, tied for third most in club history, while the 55 points are fourth most in club history. 10 regular season wins at home. That's pretty good. 4 times over the course of the last 7 years. That's been the case. Continue to sweep St. Louis. And as far as us clinching is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, I think the lowest we can finish is what? 7th? 6. Okay. The lowest we can finish is 6 within the postseason, but obviously who the hell wants to do it? No, actually, we can finish no lower than 7th, meaning that there is a guarantee a place in the round 1 best of 3 series. I mean, this is what I pulled off of LAFC. It's no lower than 7th.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard for us to finish 7th, though. It's going to have to be a big run. A big run by Vancouver and a big collapse by us. Let's take a quick look at it, and then Philly, we got to make sure we mention Tyler Miller one last time for sure.
Yeah, I got that. Also, a couple of Denny.
Yeah, I figured you did. I'll bring it back to you. Don't worry. Carson, 61 points with 2 matches to go in their season.
Real quick, Scarf. Optimus Beta is telling us he's listening to us from Atlantis. How in the hell did you find Atlantis? I kid. Incredible. Anyway, I know that's in the Bahamas. Anyway, go on.
I'm just jealous. Listen, Carson with 61 points, 32 matches. That means they have 6 total points possible left, so they can finish on 67. And with our 55 points through 31 matches, we have 9 points possible, which means the most we can accrue is 64. So we do need them to falter. But let's just look at those numbers real quick. the first 3 tiebreakers, if we somehow both finish with the same amount of points, total number of wins, 18-16 is where we are at right now. If Carson wins out, they obviously win. If they falter, we still have to run the table just to catch them with the equal number of wins. So we have to catch them on wins, but then we'd have to go to the second tiebreaker. And that's where things get a little dicey. The second tiebreaker is goal differential on the season, and we are currently 5 behind Galaxy. Now, if they lose a match and we win bigger, 3-0, 3-1, 4-0, 4-1, then we close that gap really quickly. But the gap is 5 right now, 19-14. And the reason why that is so important, Philly, is because with just 3 matches left in our season, we are 11 goals scored behind Carson, which is the third tiebreaker. So if we catch them in wins, which is certainly possible, we need to make sure that we catch them in goal differential, because likely we're not catching them in goals scored. So that's the big thing.
And speaking of 1914, Scarf, you know what was significant that occurred in 1914?
I mean, lots of things, but what are you thinking of?
The Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, was shot to death, which pretty much led to the start of World War I.
Isn't that what Modest Mouse did a song about too? I think.
I can't say.
Where did you? What part of your hind? What part of your hind region did you just pull that out of? By the way,
I like history. What can I say? While you were majoring in numbers, and the ironic part is, I work in finance, but I loved history. I loved geography. Put a map in front of me. I'll tell you where Yemen and Oman is. You want to talk about trigonometry? Actually, you want to talk about math? If it's trigonometry, I could soak a toe with the hell out of you. But other than that, there's a lot of stuff in this. That's what I want to.
That's what I want to hear from my finance guy. I know I work with numbers, but man, do I like history instead. I
like history. History is fascinating. Yes, mathematics is certain, but I like stories. I like hearing stories. So when you tell me 1914, I'm going to think of Britain declaring war on Germany and the Archbishop getting shot to start things. Him and his wife getting executed.
I mean, I love it. Philly, real quick. Speaking of history, Hugo Lloris making a little bit of history for LAFC with his 11th shutout of the season. And there's only, Philly, one player in all of our club's history to have more shutouts over a career, let alone a season, than Hugo.
Well, real quick, his 11 shutouts in 30 games does leave him tied with Maxime Crepeau. So let's not forget about Max the Magnificent just yet. But yes, only Tyler Miller has more. 19 to be precise. 19. And obviously this will be something that Hugo could probably vanquish relatively quickly, as he has come up with 11. That 11th shutout enables him to now lead the entire league, and he set an LAFC record for shutouts in a season. So good on Hugo Lloris. And again, a big, not going to show you all watching because I know there's kids in the chat, but the proverbial middle finger to the Hugo Lloris haters out there.
You're so subtle with it too. That's the best part.
I'm as subtle as that bull in a china shop, baby.
Yeah, look, Hugo, I'm predicting actually Hugo finishes with 13 shutouts on the season. I think he's going to get 2 more over these last 3 matches, and I think we're going to do pretty great. Is that Smirty just brought something up? I don't believe we didn't know this on the chat. Anybody want to subscribe to us? If you haven't already subscribed, it'd be great, because then we'd be at a nice big round number. Either way, Philly, we found
we only there, by the way. It just goes to show me that more of y'all like to listen to us than to look at us. That's all that tells me. I feel like we've hung around that number for quite some time. But either way, for those that look, I appreciate y'all. There's a lot of familiar faces in here. I just know that many more of you listen to us. It just makes me really believe that we have faces for radio, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to.
At least my wife thinks I'm attractive, and she's attractive, so I'll just take that. Her and Hello Kitty likes me too.
There you go. Yeah, it's hard to blame them that they'd rather listen to us than look at us for sure. But Philly, tomorrow they get one more opportunity to look at us, one more sleep, for our match against Sporting Kansas City. For all of you out there celebrating Rosh Hashanah, Lashana Tova to all of you.
Happy 5475.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. And to everybody else out there in the LAFC community, again, for those of you accessing us, whether you're watching us on YouTube Live, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, however it is that you access Defenders of the Bank, please know how grateful we are. We love your support. We love all of the comments, the chat, again, on fire. We thank you for that. We would also love if you could head over to defendersofthebank.com and click on the shop link and maybe purchase something pretty cool. We are going to have more more designs up in our store before the end of the MLS season as well. So that's going to be very exciting. And the last thing I have to say is the last thing Pete Alonso said in his interview before he went off and took his team picture. LFGM, baby. Let's go.
DM the account. I've got a 50% off coupon for you, but I'm not going to publicly say what it is. I don't know if I said it last time publicly. And if I did, totally forgot. But if you want 50% off Defenders of the Bank merch, hit up the account and I'll make sure to take care of you. That 50% coupon is good for quite some time. Look, we don't ask y'all for Patreon stuff. I don't even know how to go about asking for Patreon stuff. I think to myself, we would have charged 99 cents an episode. Scarf and I might have been able to actually quit our day jobs because there are a lot of you that download Defenders of the Bank from the audio sense. And from there, I genuinely appreciate y'all. I think last I was looking, there was 110 countries, almost over 3,000 or almost 3,000 cities. So I know y'all are out there. And if you could just do me one last solid, I don't ask for anything. If we could just boost those subscriber numbers on YouTube at bare minimum to 1,000, that would be a major accomplishment for us. I feel like we've been kind of stuck in the mud where we've been for quite some time. So y'all could just, help me out. Tell your moms, your uncles, your other brothers, mothers, former cousin's roommate. I don't know. There's a Spaceball reference in there somewhere, but that's the only thing I have to say. Let's go Mets. You'll see us again tomorrow as we're going to do one more sleep. Then you'll see us over the weekend as we recap Sporting Kansas City. Then we got Vancouver. Then we got the Earthquakes later on down the road. And then we got the playoffs. But until then, let's go LAFC. Let's go Mets.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you didn't have anything? Oh, you said you were done. Oh, yeah. Bye-bye.